everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From BA to Broadway. You know who it is. It's me. It's Mr. Brennan Stefanik, and I am bringing you those general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with the main episode. Every Friday, Danny and I are bringing you in the spotlight, but that's enough about that. That's not why we're here today. Folks, I am joined with the one and only Mariah Rose Faith Casillas. Mariah, what is going on?
Brennan, everything. What is it?
So true.
We're alive.
We're alive. We're thriving, question mark.
Oh, yeah. I would say full exclamation point, maybe 3.
Good for
because
you.
Know what it is? Well, I don't know. But I think at some point you just have to go, I'm thriving!
Yeah.
And yell. You know, like you just have to go, I am. And
We're
who's gonna deny
manifesting
me?
in some way, as they say, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mariah, who the heck are you and what do you do?
Oh my God. My name is Mariah. Mariah Rose Faith Casillas, the long one. This question used to haunt me, but thankfully I'm so old and aware in my body.
You can't say that.
No, old is great. Like in the sense of
I'm old.
Yes, congratulations. You've made it.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
you've made it. But I think like when
honestly,
I was like...
it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. Oh, I said to my dad last night, I was like, honestly, every day's a gift because I didn't even imagine I'd get this far.
And that's so valid. So valid.
So I'm stoked. No, I used to be haunted when I was like 22 and I'd be like, I think people know me for theater, but I make music and I go to film school and I do this. And so I just kind of go, I'm a little weird little artist who pops around sometimes on a musical theater stage, sometimes writing music, sometimes writing movies. We're just doing it. Yeah,
there you go.
But mainly people know me from musical theater and singing some songs and being online.
Amazing. Yeah. Second question is usually how do we know each other, but we really don't. We've just been social media friends for like years.
How beautiful.
Oh my God.
This is such this industry too, in the best way.
Yeah, 100%. And Mariah, did you go to school for theater?
No. Well, kinda. So I started at a community college.
Amazing.
When I was 19, and I just turned 19, and I was planning to transfer for USC for film.
Gotcha.
And of course, when I was at the school, I was at Santa Monica College in LA, which has like an amazing transfer program for theater and film. And I was like, well, while I'm here, I should utilize the theater department. Turns out I like loved it, of course. I've just been doing theater for fun for forever. But when you really start to like learn and get incredible teachers that are like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, no, I gotta go make a movie, which still have not done that. So I did do stuff there, and there was a time where I was considering transferring for BFA.
Gotcha.
And then I got so I started competing in that college program. I was like nominated for stuff. I did like things through the Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
Rip. But not rip.
Rip but not rip. Rip for now.
A rough time. Yeah, rip for now.
Yeah.
But I did, some competition stuff and kind of realized like, oh, I really love doing this, and I do believe like I have a talent at it. But the grind of school and the people who are in schools, when I was like 20 and 21, I didn't have that stamina. I was like, put me behind a camera. Like I cannot be out here. So yes and no, my teachers were so mad I went to film school, but I lasted in film school for a year before my first year of film school, I was starting to do stuff with Team Star Kid and working other professional theater things. And so I didn't last very long until theater went boop.
Heard.
You thought.
Heard.
Yeah.
Amazing. Were you an academic prior to the college life?
I would say, I love... Like, what do you mean academic?
Would you consider yourself an academic?
Yeah, I would think so.
Amazing.
I would say yes. I would say so. But I also think I hate school. Like, I love learning and I hate school. Like, give me knowledge till the day ends, and I'm good at school too. But I just get burned out.
Yeah.
That's the tea. The tea is that yes, I am, but I'm tired.
I learned very quickly that after high school that I was like, I don't ever read textbooks. I don't ever actually retain information this way,
Absolutely not.
Once again, I love to learn things that I want to learn, but other than that, I
struggle.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Is that the undiagnosed ADHD? Who's to say? But you know what?
I would say Maybe so.
Probably.
With some diagnosis in this body, I would say, can't put that on you, but I would say probably.
Okay. Thank you, doctor.
Your wife don't know. She's not a doctor, everyone. She just loves to
I
talk.
only bring on
She's not a
licensed
doctor.
professionals.
You're right. I said no to theater degree, no
Yep.
to medical degree, but you can trust me in both fields.
Of course. Mariah, when did the theater bug get you? When did the performance bug get you? Did you have an artistic upbringing? All that jazz?
I was like,
says.
I know. I'm always music. It was like music before talking. Like it was very much like I get this world. My mom threw me into musical theater. She was like,
Gotcha.
"Hey, little shy kid, you love doing this. Why don't I just throw you into the sharks?" And I was like, "Please no,
Yeah.
please don't do it." And then I was like 7.5, probably, maybe 8. Did my first musical, and it was like people I knew, like youth theater in San Diego. San Diego has great theater programs out here, like very fortunate to have grown up in that scene, but would not say I caught the bug right away. I would say I went, I love singing. Yeah. Like, I love singing and I love stories, but like...
These people are a lot.
These people are a lot, and people are relying on me to like give and be, and I was like, whoa, I'm 8. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But then I think like middle school was I was still sort of doing it on and off, like getting more confident, just singing in general too. Yeah. Like I was doing more stuff just musically. And finally I went, well, it's like really fun to, okay, here, I'll tell you this. I saw a girl perform. I'll tell you that this is really the moment I went, hold on, theater. Can we cuss on this podcast?
Oh, yes. That's a lesson in itself. Actors swear.
Okay. Yeah, actors swear. This is the moment when I went, theater fucking slays. Yeah. Like, I get it. I saw a girl I knew who was a few years older than me. I was probably like 11. She's probably 15. And she ate down on my own. Ate it down. And I went,
on my own.
Hold on. I was like, wait. On my own, pretending he's beside me. I was like, oh, okay, dark. And then it's like, she really is losing it. She's dying. And I was like, okay, theater can do that.
Yeah.
Like, you can give yourself in a song like that on stage and through a story that is this human and bleak and universal. And I went, okay, I'm going to do it.
That's for me. I think that's for me.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Okay, so then you started doing the thing. Was there a moment, I mean, imposter syndrome aside, was there a moment where it kind of clicked where you were like, okay, no, I can do this?
Yes, absolutely. Middle school, 7th grade, when I had to quit basketball because I got the lead in the musical. I was like, God. I am Troy Bolton.
I was about to say Troy Bolton who?
I went, am I good at this? Am I multi-talented?
Yeah.
No. But I think I didn't really believe that this was something that could provide me with interest in myself and potential payment until I was fully like 21.
Heard.
Like not early at all. And I think that's why not going to school for it and kind of being in these environments, I was like, whoa, you guys in the most beautiful way possible are more dedicated and serious and like locked in than I have become yet this place. Because it was really kind of like I do this for fun and like therapy. This is my release and like this makes me feel like myself. But it's also incredibly hard. So I was like, you're right. Like you do have to lock in to a degree. It can't just be like, like there has to be some. So 21, I was like, yes, I have this like raw natural talent, but I also need to refine myself and like get a little bit more serious.
For sure. For sure. Is there a way that you found other than college that you kind of were able to hone in on that a little bit? Like, I don't know, what was your process with that? I feel like once you join musical theater, it is all just kind of like, okay, I'm going to rely on what I got for a while. But at some point you do have to be like, okay, now what works best for me in terms of learning how to do this as a thing, you know?
Yes, 1,000,000%. And I think like, there was a point where, and I think this happens to a lot of people, I'm gonna sound like an asshole being like, you
Do
just
it.
have a talent in you.
Do
but
it.
like it was like my little raw talent I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do with.
Mhm.
And I think that takes everybody to a certain point.
Mhm.
You know, like that raw talent. And then there goes, okay, there has to be some education in here. There has to be some refinement. There has to be some limitations to what I know I can do.
Mhm.
Because it was like, oh yeah, my raw talent can get me a role, can get me this, but then the doing the role and doing the professional shows and doing all that is its own ballpark.
Yeah.
I think like it was really 20 and 21 I started working professionally a bit in LA and doing new works and workshopping stuff, doing fringe things and like studio work and all of that stuff. And I think that was when I went, people are treating me like a professional.
Yeah.
I want them to respect me, so I'm gonna grind and learn. And I also felt like, because I went, okay, well, I'm not in school for this. Like, I don't have like these ready mentors for me. And I did for a bit, like 18 to 20, a little bit of 21. But even then I transitioned to film school.
Yep.
So like the theater of it all, I didn't really have anybody there for me that much anymore. And I went, okay, well, I'm gonna become a super fan again. And I really did. I feel like I really was like, and this is advice I wish I could get to everybody. It's like, go back to why you fell in love with this in the first place and study the people who are the best.
Yes.
And like see what they do. If you can't, most of us can't afford school. I also couldn't afford to go to New York City till I had my first Broadway callback. Like that wasn't a part of my life. And so it was just like, you know what I can do? What's free is YouTube, and I can find things and also talk to people that I can within theater shows I'm in. Like I really leaned on my peers in those professional states and was like, okay, because for a lot of those times I was always the youngest.
Gotcha.
And still now in my grown old age, sometimes I'm still the youngest. And I'm like, well, then use that as a educational point. Don't be like, oh yay, I'm the youngest and this is no, you're the youngest and you square up and pay attention and be present and learn from the people who've been here before. So that was probably it. Damn.
Who were some of those people from your YouTube university that you were like looking at for your inspiration in your education?
Oh my God, what a good question. It takes me back.
Let's go all the way back.
Let's go all the way back. I'm going to say something so
I can't wait.
It's all there.
I can't wait.
I hate it, but it is the truth. I was a Jeremy Jordan truther. Like, I was like, sorry, he's telling the story every single time.
Yeah.
And do you see how his voice elevates when he starts to get in that presence? Like, of course, he's very trained, but it's like when he locks in and tells it, especially at that, like, of course, still now. But, that time was like, the last 5 years movie just came out. And we were kind of like, this is our Broadway darling that now is in cinema and he does these things, and I'm listening to the Death Note musical demos and I'm like, yeah, Jeremy Jordan, like it is all in it. And then, God, I mean, straight up Cynthia Erivo, which is one of those like, I just loved watching this arc because I mean, as most of us, it was like, it was just like,
We've
oh
been
my
new.
God,
We've been new. Welcome
it's like,
to the world,
you're
everyone.
Before Color Purple, and then it was like that felt like a victory lap seeing her perform at the Tonys for that. And so it was just like, I don't know, them for sure. Any Sondheim cast ever. Sondheim is like my Bible. So I'd also just watch interviews of him, which I've done again in later years. Like last year, I watched so many Sondheim interviews and like listened to his shows over and over. Jonathan Larson last year, big back into Lynn. Like who's coming up in these recent years, who's been now, and like I was also just studying like time periods of what's in, what's working, and how the industry is changing too, which is kind of I feel like how I got in the first place. Is I was like, oh, I think they need like a little rock belter.
Heard.
I can do that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then like people in person also from like YouTube. I was like, I have the privilege of being in Star Kid and all of those people who like I was a fan of first.
Yeah.
And so then to just watch them as a fan become a coworker, become a peer, because someone they can rely on too, was just like a beautiful learning experience and then just like a growing experience.
I mean, It is always wild when like those degrees of separation start to get closer and closer, and you're like, okay,
Oh my God, it's weird.
wait, I might
Yeah.
be a part of the community, even though
Yes!
I may not be on Broadway, but I may be
I'm in
within the
it.
circles. Yeah, it
Yes,
is wild.
yes.
And then you
It's
get that
beautiful.
first paycheck doing something, and you're like, wait a second,
Yeah.
I can only focus on this for a couple weeks, like while this run is happening, and I can be really good at this and do this and get paid, and
Yeah.
live that dream.
What a gift.
What
There
what a
is
freaking
something,
gift.
and it's definitely rare in this field of
Yeah.
like, oh, I can support myself on this paycheck for a week.
Yep.
But it's like when that gets to happen, I think we all, our little artist brains go like, whoo, okay,
Truly.
all the extra stuff, I get
Yeah.
to do my thing, hone in on my thing, and like give it, which is one of my favorite things to do. Because I think most of the time, most of us are hyper focused on a million other things, and we don't even
100%.
get to really lock
Yeah,
in on
I
our
mean,
favorite thing.
We're out here with all of our survival jobs, like trying to, I
Yeah,
mean, we have to
always.
be self-sustaining adults and like make
Yeah.
meals and all that shit too, which is like there's only so many hours in the day. So like when we do have that respite to just like actually get paid to do what we love for a couple weeks, a couple months, whatever it is, it's just it's a break. It's a break from the
it is a
monotony
break.
that we
Yeah.
And it's always needed. It's always so needed.
Absolutely.
I need a break. I need a fucking break right now.
No,
let me
which
tell
is
you.
so funny to go. Like I was telling, I'm home right now. So I was telling my parents yesterday, I was like, it's so crazy. And when you realize you're doing what you want to do, is like, I'll have a full day. The other day, it was like I taught 3 voice lessons. I went to a rehearsal for something I'm recording this next weekend. I drove down here learning lines for another show I'm doing. And then I go and when I'm done with all the quote unquote work, I then go work on my own music because that's what I want to do for fun.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oh, like I actually, and so it's true. Like it's like if you get to go do a show, it kind of does feel like a break because it's
Truly.
like, oh, I get to go do the full, less thinking fun time
Yeah.
and do this. But it's weird that for us, like less thinking is like learning a show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, truly.
Essentially. Like,
It is
but
truly
it is.
the amount of homework that would be so overwhelming in any other circumstance of my life, but
Yep.
I just can't wait to do it in those instances,
I
you
can't
know?
wait to do it.
Oh,
I know. I agree.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to do my homework.
I can't wait to do my homework. My
Um,
play.
So when you started like working professionally, did you find as though there was like a type that you were being kind of put into or something that you knew that you did better than anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, it came down to I never call myself, I think people put me in the category of like big belter girl, but that's why I always say like, no, I'm like from like I grew up in like rock and roll
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
like I've never, and I've been taught singing since I was like little. And so I learned how to sing rock music healthily very early on. So
sure.
like for me, that kind of belt is a little bit different than a straight contemporary theater belt, which I don't think I'm that great at. Like I don't think I'm there. So I found my niche kind of circling back in that like rock belt era
Yeah.
that musicals were turning into and starting to enter. I was like, oh, I can do that very sustainably. So like if someone wants to put me in a show and rely on me, like they're not going to worry about my voice dying out, essentially. Like, of course, if I overwork, if I'm not careful with my body, it will happen. But that's kind of where my voice sits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell my students, like, because they get, as we all do, can get, like, upset and worked up if our voices aren't doing the things that we want. Or we're not
course.
performing at that place, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you guys, it's easier for me to sing something like Dead Girl Walking than it is a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just where my range sits in my voice,
Totally.
what I've been trained in my whole life. Whereas Taylor Swift, I'm like, that mezzo pop voice that like is in this place, like that's on my break. I don't like it there.
Exactly.
So I went, okay, not just is this what I'm really good at, this is also what I'm sure of.
Totally.
Like, I know I can rely on myself singing and acting these characters. So, like, I started in vocal. So usually those kind of characters are a little bit grittier, a little bit mean girl high schooler, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I found myself being those a lot, but I didn't care. I was like, put me in, coach, you know, like, like absolutely.
Totally.
But yeah, I feel like I've been actually very fortunate in my array of roles I've been able to play. And I've finally let myself like feel some bit of pride in that, of being like, hey, you're
Good.
kind of versatile. You can be versatile.
Yes, you can. You
Yeah.
absolutely can. A multifaceted actor.
Wow. Can we
Yeah.
believe it?
No, I totally
Yeah,
get
but
that.
probably those.
For sure. I grew up like listening to Bon Jovi. Like that was my intro to music and like
Straight up.
and singing. It was like all that kind of stuff.
Like Queen for me.
For sure.
Yeah. It's like Freddie Mercury was everything.
And then you kind of have to like make the shift to where you're like, okay, now I have to sing pretty, and I don't like that. Feels like a skill that a lot of people just come in
Hold
with,
on.
and it's a
Yeah.
it's a very weird shift, and I don't even know to this day if I can quote unquote do that, but like it is a different ball game, you know?
It's different.
It really is.
Yeah. And you know, like, it takes so long for the voice to develop too.
Oh my God.
Like till your mid-20s.
Yeah.
So we're trying to also maneuver it, and our body's like not done.
No.
Growing up and doing all this stuff yet either.
Exactly. How did you get into teaching?
Oh my God, thank God COVID. I taught a little bit before, and I always loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I always loved if I did masterclass stuff or one-on-one. I felt like just really like, I don't know. I think like I come from a family who are coaches too
Gotcha.
and teachers.
Okay.
And so I think like I've seen and had great teachers my whole life, and it's in my blood. And like I went to school for directing, so that's also like it's so easy when you have that part of you too, and you're working on musical theater. Like there's so much that all goes together. So it's like I've had vocal training my whole life. I've been taught how to direct, so I felt like I was just really prepared when it came to this, and also like at that point had a lot of professional experience too, so I felt like I had like a lot to offer, rather than when I was younger where I was like, I know I'm skilled and I know I've had training, but now I'm also like, and I have this to show for it.
For sure.
I like am taught to like, I love my students are like, I always say like they're my kids, and then they turn 18 and then they're my little siblings. Where I'm just like so proud of them. But there's what a joy to like help people book their first professional jobs or like get into their dream schools. And it's like that as I don't even call that my survival job. Like it's like if I'm not like doing a show or doing something that really sustains me, like what a joy that I get to teach. And it also stays like it keeps me like in it too. Like when I do get that random like difficult audition, I'm like, oh my God, I was just coaching through one of like my, I don't want to call them kids. They're like all in their 20s. But like one of my students, and I'm like, oh, I just gave them this note. Let me vocal coach myself through this, because at this point, I don't really have a lot of time to roll up to a vocal coach. Yeah. Like I just don't have. I mean, if there was something I really needed, absolutely,
of course.
But yeah, it comes down to like, okay, thank God for them, because they help me stay technically sharp.
Yeah.
Like I can rely on that I'm not going to hurt myself because I've been thinking so technical.
Totally.
Usually throughout the week.
It's also just a testament to you that like it's hard enough like going, oh, I myself can do this and I should be taking up the space, never mind being able to then be like, okay, and now I am qualified to tell others that they can do the same thing. You know?
Sure.
It's like a whole different level of imposter syndrome where you're like, okay, but who am I?
Yeah.
Even like doing this, I'm like, who am I? Who am I to tell anyone how to be doing this or how to live their life?
Yeah.
You know?
But we all have these, I'm going to sound so hippy dippy, but it's everybody has their own individual, incredible, beautiful experiences that they've lived through that we have to provide for each other. And I think like there's definitely been parts of my life where I'm like, I have to be my own hero. I have to be my own role model. And it's like, what a lonely imposter syndrome filled life. Where it's like, and you're always like, I'm never at that level I want to be. And as soon as you just start going like, what if I am enough with this experience that I have? I'm not going to go preach to Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, put it to a younger version of me. I could. And you know what I'll say to this? I probably have something that Meryl Streep would love to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell her how to be an actress, but I bet there's something about my experience that would like help her and hers. And Lord knows she would have millions for me.
Of course.
No? But I feel like I see someone who's 22 and I'm like, I feel very capable to say I was where you were.
Yeah.
So I can talk from that gaze as well and give the reality of the industry, give also training to help that, and just like a lot of different facets. But it's like, you do have to feel confident that you have the ability to give it. Otherwise, I know I've gone through lulls of not teaching well.
Yeah.
And those were times where I was not feeling confident in myself.
Totally.
I'm the best teacher when I believe in who I am. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. That is no,
Oh,
like
I'm so
that.
glad.
No, that's like genuinely beautiful because
I love it.
I feel like I'm also like caught up in the grind right now of like audition season
Hmm.
here, and everything's just so hustling and bustling that everyone's just like so fatigued and like so just like
Exhausted.
yeah, they're like over it a little bit in a way where it's like
Yeah.
it is hard to flip that switch on in the morning, and it's hard to kind of like keep that momentum going. So like that is really refreshing to hear that like no matter what, you have something that someone else doesn't in some way, shape, or form that you can
Yes.
share, and
I
even
know.
Meryl Streep can learn from
Even
you.
Meryl,
Yeah,
even Meryl could learn something so strange from
truly.
me. You know, I'd learn, I'm sure, just tremendous gifts of knowledge and fruit, and she'd get like this weird tidbit of this little girl from a country town that
Of course.
I think she'd like it though. I think
Yeah.
she
I think she'd be
she's a
into
good
it.
one.
I think that'd be a
Yeah, I
vibe.
think she has a great open heart. I think that she loves learning, Meryl,
Oh my
and
god.
I think we'd hit it off.
We should make that happen. Okay, podcast people,
I
if
think
you
so.
got your connection to Meryl Streep, get out there. We need
It's
the push.
because I'm I'm in this show through like UCB
Hmm.
called like Mamma Mia but different, and we hire like
Oh yeah,
comedy
yeah, yeah.
writers to do these things. It's because I'm playing Meryl Streep on Friday that she's so heavily in my head.
Understood.
So just to say, she's really in me right now. I'm like,
Yeah,
Meryl, I'm with
amazing.
you. You're with me.
What is this Mamma Mia but different? Please tell me about this.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? We love talking about it. So for the last like year, I got in this on the whim. This is the story of my life though, and I say to anybody listening, just insert yourself places. Like insert
Yeah.
yourself places. It's so scary to do, but if you feel, and here's what I'll say, not places that the vibe and energy is against you. Don't go there.
Oh my god,
XX.
no. Vibe check,
XX.
vibe check.
Vibe check. Even if you're like, wow, that'd be so good for my resume or connections.
Mhm.
If you and your stomach are like, don't go there,
Totally.
don't go there.
No.
Not for you.
No, no,
But
no, no.
I went to go see my friends who are all UCB comedians, writers,
Yeah.
performers, brilliant people in this show they were doing. And they're like, we're doing this thing. We get writers to write a new show and we put Mamma Mia songs in it. But it's a whole new show. But it's Mamma Mia, but it's different, right? Because it's ABBA songs
Oh
is just Mamma
my
Mia. They just said,
God.
here's a plot. And
Hell
so I
yeah.
went to see it. And then I went out with them after and I was like, guys, that was so good. That was so
Yeah.
funny. And then lo and behold, they call me up for the next one. They're like, you want to be in it? And I was like, of course I do. I took one UCB intro class once when I was like 19, moved to LA. And now here I am like
Yeah.
main stage doing this shit. And I'm like, but you know what? At first, I'll tell you, imposter syndrome. I was
Yep.
like, my friends are so funny. They're so brilliant. And here I am, little theater girl me. And then one rehearsal doing one of the shows, it came to me of just like, dude, like having your voice and having this. And I was like, oh my God.
Crazy.
They appreciate me, how I
Yeah.
appreciate them. Like, I'm a piece in this too. And then I was just like, oh, I don't know why I was like, do I even deserve to be here? I didn't do the UCB grind.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, I wouldn't be doing this if that wasn't the case. And I think like
sure.
that is a huge, when you enter the professional space, I feel like that's always.
Totally.
Because especially in this era of social media, like, I don't know what happened truly over COVID too, but I think like we forgot, like if you comment on something, like that's public.
Yeah.
Um,
Truly.
but, like, that's
And
public.
some people are out here not knowing that.
I don't know that. And I'm like, that was not only is this public, but that felt like a private thought.
Yeah.
But all this to say is, you know, there's so much opinions about everybody's talent.
Totally.
Not just your own. And you can be like someone in a high school show, get a TikTok go viral, and have thousands of comments about you and you're
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, we can't be doing this. Like, if you're in the
Totally.
show, if you're playing the part, baby, it's yours and you
Totally.
deserved it. And we all think things about everything, but
Yeah.
that doesn't really mean
No,
much.
it doesn't mean
the end of the day.
anything. And like
No.
rest in peace to the Red Room Legally Blonde girls, but like the internet is a terrible, terrible place.
The internet is
And it can be
evil.
so hard to put yourself out there in that way, you know?
It is. And like, as from being someone who started on like little YouTube stuff, and that's how I got like opportunities.
Yeah.
I've had so many people, not just like students, but friends of mine too, just like,
Mm-hmm.
and peers of like, I get so nervous putting myself singing, and I'm like, because you don't want people to perceive you like in a way that you can't
Totally.
control. And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, bitch, me too. Like,
Yeah.
babe,
Don't
but-
perceive me.
Yeah, it's like,
Who do you
don't
think
perceive
you
me. But
are?
then it's also like, damn, I'll tell you this for free. If you want your dreams to come
Yeah.
true, they have to perceive you. damn.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like,
This is where there's a cutscene to me wearing sunglasses inside Trader
yep,
Joe's.
being like, absolutely not.
And
Don't
I'm
you
like,
dare.
nobody even knows I'm here.
No one is
Nobody even
seeing
knows
the
I'm here.
existence, and it was just
No.
like, whoa. But it's also, I think, really healthy, and I went through this, in the last couple of years too, those lulls of going, no, actually, I'm gonna hide a little.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hide a little and
Yeah.
recharge and find myself, and I don't want to be perceived right now because I
Mhm.
don't really know who I am in this moment. Like, that's
Totally.
so healthy too.
Yeah.
But if you know who you are and you know what you want to give and you know your talent, press record.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. I hate it too. But then don't do something like, I'm never gonna be a vlogger.
Yep.
Like, I've tried and I feel like I'm wearing a costume.
Totally.
So that's not what I'm gonna do. That's not what I'm gonna press record on.
Yeah.
But I will press record singing on my guitar in my room
For sure.
because that feels natural to me. So it's also like a balancing act of like, how do we put ourselves in places that we won't feel like an
Yeah.
imposter, that we won't feel like we're trying
Totally.
to appease the industry
Yep.
in some sort of way? Because I also think when we do that, we don't get the things that we actually
No.
like want most of the time. Like, they don't align with us 'cause
Exactly.
we're not being
Authentic.
us
Yeah.
authentically. Yeah.
It's like, I
Mhm.
mean, it's just a matter of like, how is someone gonna help your dreams come true if you don't tell them what they are? You know?
I know.
Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
know that
How are
unless
they
you
gonna
tell
come to
them.
you?
Yeah. So if you know what they
Yeah, I
are, then
know.
fucking
Speak on
tell the world.
it.
Tell the world. You know?
Yeah, bravery is so beautiful.
It is.
Like,
It's
because it's really
terrifying, but
hard.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. You know?
Yeah. When I see people be brave, I'm like, oh, damn, girl, get up.
Yeah.
Like, this whole last year, like, really in the music industry too, like Doechii, Chapel, Sabrina, Billie, like Beyonce. Like, Beyonce went, fuck you guys, country album.
Literally.
I'm a cinephile. And I was like, that's my mom. Like, I just love her. But that was brave too.
Truly.
Because she knew, like, all these people knew. It's like,
Mhm.
people are going to talk, people are going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But this is what I know is my art. This is what I know I have to tell. And then we had incredible art all over the place because they weren't scared to do it.
Truly.
Kind of. Now I'm on my soapbox.
No, get on that soapbox. This
I
is
love
a
this shit.
soapbox for you.
You're right. That's what a podcast is.
That's true.
And you invited me on.
I did.
You did this.
I said, please come on my soapbox. There's so much room.
So come on. I was like, okay. I'll make sure there's space.
For sure. So I mean, especially with Mamma Mia and stuff now, like it seems like you are doing a lot of like comedic roles and stuff. Do you consider yourself a comedic actor? Like, did it ever like have a click-in moment where you were like, oh, okay, wait, no, I'm funny, you know?
I'm funny. Well, that's the thing is like, I know Mariah's funny,
Mhm.
but I've never been like me in characters is always funny because I know how to be me funny.
Yeah,
I didn't always know how to be funny through another person kind of thing. My brain is so layered. I'm like, how do I do that? How do I get to their funny?
Of course.
But yeah, I think like this last Star Kids show we did last year too, Cinderella's Castle, is like a crazy comedic weird part I'm doing too. And I think I was just like, what if Mariah Funny can live through these characters?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't need to be that complicated? What if we let your humor speak through them? And that's why you were cast as them in the first
Truly.
place, because of like what you exude. And so like, yeah, I mean, if I could have like Emma Stone's career,
Oh, my
sign
God.
me up. Like, put me in raunchy comedy. I can do. That's fine.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
that. But sometimes it's like the more clean comedy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to do
No.
that.
No.
Like, that's harder for me.
Exactly.
But it's getting easier. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm a funny bitch.
Hell
I think-
yeah.
I think put her in. Let me be funny on stage. I don't want to be serious all the time.
No,
Like,
serious is
I
boring.
love a ballad, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
The world is really serious, so I'm trying to play funnier
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
on stage
Yeah.
or on screen or something.
I mean, the world
Yeah.
needs more of it right now, and
I know,
whatever, but,
silly
like,
goofy.
silly goofy,
Yeah.
silly goofy
Yes.
time.
Silly goofy time. I have two genres I'm into right now: silly goofy time or incredibly dark comedy.
Oh my
Because
God.
that's also silly goofy time.
Yeah,
When you think of it.
very much
Yeah,
so.
it's like that knows it's being kind of
Truly.
crazy too, where it feels like, well, this is fantasy,
Yeah.
right? Because dark comedies, if we can get out of the realm of reality
Mm-hmm.
and know that these are kind of cartoon characters and these sort of things, like let's go back to my father, Stephen Sondheim.
Let's go back.
I saw an interview of him this year that I must have missed in my deep dive days, and he's talking about Sweeney Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I don't know who's interviewing him, so sorry to the man, but he was basically like, so tell me all these deep themes and stuff about Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And Stephen Sondheim's like, they're cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm.
This is an operetta. None of them are real. And I'm like, yes, because that's where we can find our own themes,
Truly.
is through this fantasy. And that's how everyone, and he's kind of just like, I don't know. There wasn't all these details of what I meant. It really is like
Yeah.
whatever you want to take away out of these fantastical things. So like, and the silly goofy does that too. Like there's just something in there. You can find humanity in the laughter,
Truly.
in this, because the outside world is already, for the last 5 years since COVID, we're like,
Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna be in a couple more years, but like it's gonna be a while before we find our way out of it. And I think a
That's
little
what I
bit more
mean.
whimsy is gonna be the key.
I think
Let's
so.
get
I
fucking
think so.
whimsical.
Thank you. I had a moment where I was talking to a friend and I was like, you know, I keep getting called in for high schoolers still, and I'm a strong 29.
And you know what?
And
Count the blessings while we can.
I'm counting them.
For sure.
But I said, you know why? It's my aura of whimsy that radiates off of me, that presents herself. She's so young. There's wonder in her eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, baby, you can have that forever.
For sure.
Have whimsy and wonder forever.
Yeah.
The world is dark for at least a few more years.
I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, I just want to have fun.
That was like a
Yeah,
huge
same.
lesson in life because like I took myself seriously for too long because I wanted others to take me
Girl.
seriously.
Yep.
And then I got to a point like it was still like end of college, like post graduation, where I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, now I have to fit into the
Alright.
world. I don't feel qualified to do that in any way. So if I
Yeah.
can treat it like a little bit of a joke and just have fun and just
Yes.
be dumb and
Yeah.
not tragically like set myself back in any
Right.
way, amazing.
That's the sweet spot.
It really is.
Because you still care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like I'm being stupid, dumb, I don't care about anything. It's like, no, I really, really care.
Truly.
So let's not overwork myself to the bone. Let's
Yeah.
really, really care and have fun.
Let's do it.
and have a good time.
Let's do it. And
Yeah.
you know what? Push comes to
Ugh.
shove. If it doesn't go right, I pretend it was a bit, you know?
Then I was a bit. And I go, wow, lore,
Wasn't that
lore,
so
lore. More
silly?
lore.
Oh my
Yeah, that was so
God.
silly, you guys.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw something that changed my life the other day. It's like when things don't work out, you know what's gonna make it easier every time? You just go womp womp and keep it and keep it rolling. Womp womp.
I am a big
And, like,
proponent
period.
of womp womp. I'm a big proponent
Womp
of
womp.
woof, and I'm a big proponent
Woof?
of yikes.
I love woof.
Yep.
Yikes. Yep.
Those are like my
woof,
three in my
yikes.
pocket that I pull out for those moments, you know?
And pull them out because there's
do.
gonna be, and it also hits you too that it's like, this is never gonna end.
Truly.
Like, we're gonna have these moments forever.
Yeah.
Like, my dad said to me last night, I was like, I bet you still feel my age like all the time still, huh? And he was like, yeah. He's like, and I was like, sometimes I still feel 8 years old. So it's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean we're not gonna have womp womp moments
Exactly.
forever? We will.
Exactly. I mean,
okay.
I guess like we in this performance world that we live in, like we do get to retain on to that like childlike wonder because we are playing pretend.
Yes,
we are
do.
getting paid
It's
to play
helpful.
pretend, and then
Yeah.
I look at like my small town where I came from and everyone doing their muggle
Yeah.
jobs, and I was like, it must be so boring, you know? It must be so boring. It really could never be me. It couldn't.
No, I'm in my hometown right
Yeah.
now that like, and I had a moment where I was like belting in the car, and I said this to a friend recently too, who's also from this hometown, moved to LA, and I was like, I used to hate belting in the car at home
Yeah.
because I was like, that's not the environment. And she's like, oh, I've never cared, and I was like, no, it's not that. It's that I know people around me aren't doing this.
Yeah.
They're not performing in it's actually like that I'm self-aware that what I'm doing in my space
Yeah.
is very different
100%.
than the people around me.
Totally.
But that's why we leave. And I think like I have a couple friends. I love them. I'm rolling my eyes if they listen to this. Sorry, bitches. I love you guys, but you need to get off. You need to get over this.
Yeah.
The people who hate transplants. And I'm like, you mean the
Oh, yeah.
people that left their small towns to go follow their dreams and be brave? You guys can't do that. Like, you mean the people who are giving up everything to go pursue what they
Totally.
want? Nuh-uh.
No.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, just because you were born in the city that had all your dreams? No, that's called privilege, baby.
For sure.
Like, those are different things.
Yeah.
But also, what a joy that you have roots in a place, right? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
that's another thing. There's things to celebrate. Like, yeah, you have these places that I don't have. I don't have a connection to my hometown, really. Except for the
Totally.
fact that it's like, I grew up here and there's parts of it I love, but I don't feel like myself here.
Yeah.
So,
No.
you know, we gotta go.
We gotta get
Yeah, I don't
out.
feel like anybody here is like me.
No.
Yeah, so I get you.
I-
Where are you from?
I'm from a small town in the middle of Massachusetts that nobody's ever
There
heard
you
of,
go.
even if they
Wait,
live in
maybe.
Massachusetts.
Maybe. I dated a guy from Massachusetts for 3 years.
Okay, it's called.
Or from New Hampshire.
It's called what?
I dated a guy from New Hampshire for 3 years.
So not Massachusetts.
So I feel like, no, I lied to you. Cut this out.
Listen, not all New England states are the same. And I'm happy you brought this up with your prejudice because...
Okay, keep it in because people need to learn. People need to hold me accountable.
Of course.
You're right.
Okay. Here's
Hold
the
this bitch
breakdown.
accountable.
Massachusetts,
Yeah.
historical. Rhode Island, kind of cool beaches. New Hampshire, ooh. Maine is up there, but it's less ooh. What am I missing? Oh, Connecticut is
Connecticut.
To me, at least, Connecticut is oh, and Vermont.
Wait,
Vermont is there.
Vermont.
Yes.
Wait, where's your town? What's your town?
I am from the town of Blackstone, Massachusetts. It's in Mass, right on
I've
the
heard
border. You have?
I've heard it, babe.
For real?
So I've driven all through Mass, and I've driven all through and then it's in there.
I don't know if I buy that, but
because everybody I know is from little small towns, little small pocket.
And
so I like, I don't know, but maybe I don't.
Yeah, it's like right on the border of Rhode Island. All my family is from Rhode Island, so it is it's very suburban. It is very much drive 20 minutes to do anything. You know, it is very that, and like for growing up, it was great. And like I loved high school, and my final day, I was like sobbing, and as I was walking out, I was like, these were the best days of my life. And then I was at college for like 3 hours, and I was like, what the fuck was I talking about? Literally.
This is way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it serves its purpose when you need it, but then when you get that taste of what else is out there, then
That's true.
You know, it feels so much smaller and isolating. And I look back and I'm like, you know, a lot of those environments were toxic, but at the same time, I wouldn't be who I am today without knowing the dichotomy of it, you know?
I freaking agree with my whole soul. That I'm like, I hate that I'm that girl that's like, I love it that I had every trial because it made me who I am. And now I know things. But I really do. And I think that eventually it gets easier when you're in those trials to go, this will make sense and I will grow and I'll be a more actualized version of myself. I'll know that duality. I'll have things to compare to. But like, it's so true. It's just like when I teach high schoolers, when I like work with them, which is very rare, or have family friends or whatever who have young ones, I'm just like, I know everybody is telling you to like enjoy this, but like genuinely, this little world that you live in, I know it feels really intense. It's just because this is your only world.
It's your life. It's your life.
Like, that's your whole life. And like, I was getting my hair done yesterday, and she has a 13-year-old daughter who loves theater. And we were talking about the like, everything feels very intense, and everything, like every drama is like end of the world. And it's like, well, it is because that's their whole world.
That is exactly right.
You know?
Yeah, it really is.
That's it. But then you get out and you're like, oh my God. That's what happened to me too, which I was like, I didn't love like school in high school at that point, but I loved like, I was doing theater with people. I had a great community of friends. I had a great circle, my like junior, senior year, you know. And then I went to college and met people who are still like my best friends now, that are like freaking family to me. And I just extended my thinking to also get to know people who don't live in your little small town. Same types of people. I was like, oh, thank God. I was getting sick over there. Like, I couldn't do it anymore.
I have such a small handful of people that, like, I still communicate with from high school. And not even, like, in a malicious way in any regards. It's just, like, I look back and I'm like, I had so many friends that I had via circumstance, you know? It was very much like, at the time, we were all we had. We were the closest to each other that we had. And you know what? In the grand scheme of things, there was a lot more difference than you can recognize at the time. And
that's such a...
Wow.
What a bar.
Thank you.
There is more difference than you can recognize at the time.
It's true.
It really is true.
It is. It's really true. And then you get out into the world and then you find people who are actually like really close to you. And like right now, especially too, like the more like the people I meet who are like just so fearlessly dumb in life, I'm like, these are my people.
My people. Yeah.
Truly,
I'm like, let me hold on to you.
No, truly. I'm like, oh, okay. You are my best friend now, and we are going to be best friends forever because
we have to do this.
This is if I can share a single brain cell with a whole group of people, I know these are my people. These are my people.
Yep.
You know?
And you start to notice, because I feel like since you've done that, like, do you notice that you guys are aligned all the time too, and what you're going through in your life?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
there is
crazy?
never a single time where I'm like, I can't say this because I don't know if they'll agree. I'm very much like,
Boom.
no, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you're going through the same things in like different font.
Oh,
But you're still somehow
different fonts.
doing it.
Yes, they're both
Yes.
silly fonts, but they're different fonts.
Oh, silly fonts, but
Absolutely.
different indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Times New Roman in this
Oh
chat.
my God.
This is not a
Absolutely
place.
not. No.
No MLA format. We're over it.
Nothing makes me more furious than when I obviously pre-write an email in my notes app and then I copy and paste it and the font switches to like something more serious. And I can, first of all, I'm a caveman. I don't know how to do
Rude.
but I cannot figure out
Yeah.
how to change
Yes,
the
'cause
font
first
on
of all,
my
a task.
phone.
Yeah,
And
yes.
I'm like, oh, I have to retype out this entire thing because I
Yes.
can't send this in.
I can't look at it like
No,
that.
I can't make
No.
someone think that I'm sending this with such prestigious
That's not me.
intent.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yes.
not.
That's not
Ugh.
me, guys. I can't send that out into the world.
No.
That's a faker.
Yeah, truly.
No. No, I love that though.
Yeah.
The real ones, the real dummies.
Truly.
They're my faves.
Yeah.
Did you watch, I'm gonna not me, I was like, how long is it gonna take till I bring up something incredibly nerdy?
Oh my God. Listen, you're in the right company.
Yay! I'm bringing up Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I was
I don't know
not
where
a
you
Dragon
are
Ball
on
Z
that.
guy.
I
I'm
wasn't either.
so sorry.
I wasn't either.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so I didn't watch it until adulthood, which honestly kind of rocked my world.
Heard.
Because like the main guy, Goku, that goes Super Saiyan.
Yes.
What a dork.
Okay.
What
Okay,
an
great.
absolute dork. And he's the most powerful out of all of that.
Yeah.
And it kind of redefined my brain chemistry because it's also like, there's so many people that try to match him, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they overwork themselves or they're angry, they seek revenge, they do this. And he's like, well, I'm going to train, but then I get tired and I got to eat 10 bowls of ramen and then I got to go fishing.
And that's so
It's
valid.
like, but that, yeah, but
That's
like
so
his
valid.
resting
Yeah.
and eating and having fun makes it so that like, when he does fight, when he does this, he's so ready.
If you
Because
have
he's
to make
like,
me lock in, you better brace yourself.
on now.
You better brace
yes,
yourself.
you better brace yourself because me locking in is big.
Yeah.
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 Because you think my locked in is locked in? No, honey, that's
No,
silly goofy.
of course.
That was me silly goofy.
Of course, this is me
Yeah.
uninhibited, but if you need me to be inhibited?
Inhibited.
What?
Sure.
Oh my God,
We're
my
gonna
light
go back
died.
to locked in.
Yes, locked in. Yes, for sure. In the same vein, too, like I don't know if you're a fantasy reader at all, but I have kind of switched my brain
sure.
into that world, and I'm in the fourth wing phenomenon right now too. But I'm like,
I have some friends who are in
Yeah.
that.
I did.
But it is not me.
I did
But
the
please.
ACOTAR thing. I switched into the fourth wing thing, and I'm like, there is a whole phenomenon of adults reading dragon books right
you
now,
believe this?
and
Can you believe
how
this?
beautiful! How beautiful!
I know. Thank God for it. Like, it's like, are we gonna finally admit that we like silly, weird things?
Yeah.
I think we should. I think, okay, I'll talk about this. Talk about D&D. D&D
yeah.
is
Yeah.
the moment. And I love D&D too. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm an actor. I'm an improv comedic theater person. Of course I want to play pretend with my friends.
Truly.
And be a dragonborn bard.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. And it's like, because that's how I see myself.
Yeah.
But it's like, yes, so let's start consuming media. Like, that's also why I'm like, yeah, I love anime. I love video games. I love these things, but they help us, right?
Yeah.
Our favorite stories, our favorite things, they help us be human.
Yeah.
They help us, like,
Totally.
take on this dang world.
Totally. Do you play Baldur's Gate?
Of course, I've beat it
Okay.
like 3 times.
We should play Baldur's Gate
did you?
sometimes. Oh,
my
yeah.
God! You know what's crazy is I've been talking about this for so long that I have to fix my internet speed. But I want to like stream Baldur's Gate as a podcast and have people come in and like meet me in the bar at Baldur's Gate and like
That
talk
would
to
be
people
sick.
and their characters
I
and be like,
I've been saying recently, I was like, I feel like I might start streaming on Twitch with a Dark Urge
it.
playthrough of Baldur's Gate, because I
Yeah.
think I will have a morally hard time doing that.
Yes.
Because I'm also an anxious
Yes.
gamer too.
You
And I'm
will.
like, I think
because
that could
I
be,
have a morally hard time.
I think that could be a very entertaining experience for everyone involved. So we'll see.
I think we'd love it. I think you should do it.
Yeah.
I did start a Dark Urge run recently. Been too busy to play, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah,
because it
for
takes
sure.
hours of my life. Yeah.
Consumes.
Consumes. So no video games for Mariah right now because we don't have the space. But I started that Dark Urge run. It took me so long because I was like, I can't be bad. So you know what I'm literally doing on this Dark Urge run? I'm doing a hero run on the Dark Urge run.
Heard.
Like,
Okay.
I'm trying to be as most hero as I can,
Yeah.
even though they're facing internal like battles inside, and I'm like, well, this is a dynamically interesting character.
Oh my
This
God.
is how I'm going to play
Fascinating.
it. To where I literally am like, I also told a friend, I'm like, and I'm not putting Shadowheart in my run either. I'm seeing how that goes. I know, big. I know. And I'm only playing with the heroes. Like, it's me as a, I don't even know what I am right now. I think I'm like a rogue because I don't have a Astarion in the group, and I was like, I need to unlock the locks.
Yeah.
I think, and then I have fucking Gale. Yeah. He's gonna be out soon.
Good. Good.
Yeah, Gale.
Honestly,
Will, and Karlach.
Thank God, because I feel like that's a controversial opinion that I have, is that I just hate Gale, and everyone's like, "What? You don't like Gale? You don't include Gale? No, get out of here."
Brennan, okay. So in my first run that I didn't beat, I romanced Halsin. And then I got upset.
Of course.
Yeah, he's still my babe.
Of course.
Honestly, at the end of the day, still my baby. Yeah. But I really didn't like the fact that he was like, I'll know you in every universe, in every lifetime. You're everything to me. I don't think we should be monogamous. And I was like, oh, wait. He's like, because I'm going to live longer than you. Like, it was like that. And I was like, what?
You literally don't know that. You don't know that.
Know
we
that.
Could die any
you don't
day.
know that.
We could die any day.
We could die any day. The
and all we
future
have
is
this.
Not definite. All we have is right now. And you're going to tell me that? And so I was so pissed. This is actually a reflection of Mariah's life in her 20s. I was so pissed about that. I then went and romanced Gale in my second arc. And you know what? I hated him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I married him in the end. And I went, whoa, women do this in life.
Yeah, they really
and
do.
And I will never.
That's too real. That is too real.
I was like, whoa. So the next run, he's in my team right now just because it's a hero run. And I needed the heroes, and there's no Shadowheart, and there was no other good guys. But Understood. I'm mean to him, and it feels great.
Yeah.
And I
As you should be. As you should be. You deserve that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just started the other night. I've never successfully completed a D&D campaign, and most die after one session. No. But the other day, yeah. But it's so hard to find a good DM, and all of my friends we were like, oh, we want to do it, we want to play, yada yada yada, and I was like, okay, you know what? Finally, I'm going to learn how to DM. I'm going to do this, and we had our first session the other night, and it was so amazing. Yay! It was so amazing. It was a huge success, which was awesome. But this was like a lot of people's first times too, and I was just. It's nerve-wracking because, like, weirdly vulnerable. Weirdly such a vulnerable thing.
For sure.
And then, like, I don't know, my opening to D&D was Dropout. Like, it was all of those kinds of things. It's very theatrical.
I was going to bring up Dropout. Yeah. Look how huge they are.
Exactly.
Selling out freaking, like, Madison Square Garden.
I was there. Like that. I was there.
You were there?
Yeah.
Whoa, I know a few people that were there, and that's just crazy. It was I know people who were in it. You know,
wild environment.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like that level of stuff where I was like, this could go really any way. This is like, we are all like friends, but this is like still like a mixed match group of people. You know, who knows?
Yeah. Sure. Yes.
And like
I've done that too,
I like kind of like got into it right away with like the character improv stuff, and I was like, I don't know how long it's gonna take him to latch on, and it did not take a long time whatsoever.
No time.
And like by the end of the night, I was like, okay, y'all, we've been playing for 4 hours. Like if we need to draw it here, like I totally understand. And they were like, I think we can keep going, and I was like, okay, great. And it was like,
oh my God,
it was one of those things where I was like, I am just so proud of like these people for like letting loose, and because also naturally, like if I'm running a campaign, it's going to be silly. Like this is not is not escapism for my inner nerd. This is very much like hee hoo ha. Okay, roll to see if they have a crush on you, kind of thing. You know.
Yes, and like guys, D&D can be so fun.
Like, exactly. I'm here for a silly, goofy time, and everyone latched on. They locked in, and we were just doing that for hours and hours and hours. And I was like, I am so proud that these people kind of are just able to unlock that and like let loose and have that environment. And like, I mean, granted, they are all theater people, but like also just a testament to that. I'm like, once again, I feel like the silly goofy of it all. What I think this is the theme of the episode, really, is that like the people who
and
know
what you
how
have to give, because look at you had not done that before, and then you put yourself in that situation, and it went truly better than you even emotionally, mentally anticipated it to.
But like those are also like the people that I love to work with most too. Like some
Yeah.
of my favorite theater
Me too.
people, theater professionals are like those, bringing it back to theater.
Yeah.
Wild.
Oh yeah.
um, some of
Real.
my favorite people to work with and that I have worked with are like those silly, goofy people who are simultaneously like the
Brilliant.
vibes in the rehearsal room are so fun, and
Yeah.
then they turn it on, and you're
It's
like,
crazy.
whoa,
They're brilliant. Those are my favorite people too.
whoa, like
Yeah.
that is talent.
Yeah.
That is talent in a way that
And they also make you better
100%.
and more vulnerable too.
Totally.
Like it encourages you to do the same thing.
Yeah. 100%. So, I mean, I feel like you did have like kind of a skyrocket when Star Kid happened and when Mean Girls happened.
Yeah.
What was that like for your life and for your perception of yourself as an actor and all of that jazz?
Oh my God, I lost it. I mean, like, in like not great ways, honestly.
Heard.
I think like, yeah, and I look back, I was having so much fun, but I was
Yeah.
also so stressed all the time. Like, I felt like the stakes were always so high on myself. And I think because like, yeah, Star Kid, I was 22, Mean Girls was 23, and like into 24. And I'm working with people who are in their 30s in both productions, in both companies, and like, that have Broadway on their belt, that have like University of Michigan on their, all Star Kid people are all Michigan people.
Yeah.
Like they fucking slay, you know,
sure.
like they're in it. And I just was kind of like all the time feeling like I had to prove myself
Totally.
and be talented enough and be deserving of all of it. I think like I was a fandom girl. So I was like on Tumblrs and Twitters and these things too. And so like when it shifted to me being a part of like fandom and being perceived and viewed in that way, like I honestly think like I'm 100% sure my brain didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't talk about this like that much, but people know. But like in the last like year and a half, I was diagnosed with autism. Woohoo! But I'm on the spectrum to a degree, and like it was just kind of, I didn't know that back then, and it would have helped a lot.
Understood.
I'll tell you that for free. But like what that was doing to me was like I almost like couldn't differentiate not being fandom girl anymore. And so when I'd like try to interact with people online or talk in certain ways, it was like, wait, I'm the person people are following now. I can't talk to people like they know me. They don't know me beyond, and not in a negative way, but in a beyond parasocial way, you know? And so there was just like so much transition of that to my brain of like, what's real, what's this, social media, like how I viewed social media as a teenager versus as a working, performing actor with like followers and active fan bases. Like Star Kid fans at the time, Mean Girls fans, like very in the best way, just like full of vibrant and wanting to talk about these shows
of
all
course.
the time.
They are like two Paramounts that have a following for a reason, you know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so that was just a little brain breaking while also trying to be an anchor. Like Mean Girls, like I was playing, again, like youngest in the leads.
Yeah.
And playing Regina. And there was, I'll never forget, like MK had said to me, who just wrapped up playing Alphabet on Broadway. She had said to me one time, she was like, I'm paraphrasing because this was years ago, but something along the lines of like, I didn't know what to think of you at first when you were cast. Like, I didn't know if you were going to show up and give, or if you were being like cast because you have a following, because of Star Kid and because this. And she was like, no, you're a straight up like performer. Like you give, you do that. And kind of what you're saying of like, yes, I know I'm silly goofy, and yes, I know I come from these things, but it's because like, one, silly goofy helps me not stress out and lose it and overwork. And coming from these things are because I couldn't afford the BFA. I couldn't afford doing this. My parents didn't go to college. Like I didn't have any role models in my life that could have provided me this path. Yeah. So like, and I did like Mean Girls. I was in that audition process and callback process for 9 months. Like it was a whole pregnancy, I say. Yeah. And it's like, I really worked hard to be there, and it was hard that even when I got it, it was still like, is she being cast for some sort of reason? And I'm like, guys, I don't even see myself as like, I've done one Star Kid show. Yeah. Like, I'm not what you guys think I am 100%. By any means. This just has a following. Like, I'm still so green. I have like this raw talent, and I've been doing shows since I was like 8. Like, I know how to be a professional. I've worked in professional spaces, but like, at those scales, each time, they were the biggest I had ever done. Yeah. And so it was just like, yeah, that transition was really hard. I feel like in a lot of ways, COVID was very good for me because I had not stopped since I was 19 and moved to LA. And then finally I stopped and I burned out completely because, again, I didn't know what was going on with my brain. And I kind of needed to figure myself out for a few years. And I did some stuff, like shows and things, and taught. But like now, like I'm like, okay, we're good. And like last year, it was like, we know how all of the body works now. We know what I can give as a performer, as an artist. We're good now. But it takes some time, I think, to get used to it.
100%. I mean, also just like generally speaking, even without the following too, it can be so hard to like when you enter something where it's just like, okay, I should probably trust that like a casting director knows how to do their job and that I am here because they know how to do their job, or that kind of thing too. It's just like, it is so hard to reconcile with that in the first place, never mind all of these added layers being put on top of it for someone that is just entering this world. Like, I mean, it's a time bomb waiting to happen, and it happens.
It was a time bomb.
It happens all the time. It happens far too frequently. And that's, I mean, once again, there are so many things that are toxic about this industry and whatnot, but it's just like, it's one of those things that we need to solve, and we need to solve fast, because
people are burning out.
People are burning out. And it is the hardest when you are starting to feel, you forget the reasons why you're doing this. You know, you forget the reasons why it brought you joy in the first place. And like, I think it is so important to take time away if you need to, but also just to revisit that and to take a step back and be like, you're sitting in an audition room just anxious to go in, and you're like, wait a second, why do I like to do this? Oh yes, this is why I should make that be why I do that, you know?
I was in... I don't care. I'm going to tell all my stuff. I don't care. Because I think, like, if you are listening to this and if you are, like, a young person pursuing this stuff, it's like, I'm not going to, like, gatekeep what I'm doing in my auditions or in my callbacks. Like, and I feel like people in this industry and, like, people I respect, too, can be very gatekeepy about, like, well, I was in for something, but, you know.
For sure.
And it's like, okay, then don't even tell me you're, like, I don't understand what that does, right?
I know you want to tell me. I know you want to tell me.
Yeah, then tell me. Tell me. I don't care. Or the, like, I just worked with so-and-so and this and this and this. I'm like, but did you have fun? Or are you just going to tell me all the people that you just worked with? Like, it's like, do you like this? You know, like, do you enjoy doing this? And so here's what I'll tell. I was in for, like, callbacks for Wicked last year a few times.
Amazing.
Which I've been in for years, though.
Of
like,
course.
they just keep going, let's keep seeing where this girl's at, you know?
Yeah.
And I think most of us know, like, Wicked's very specific about what they want out of their performers and how they want to do it. And the first time I was in the final call, like, last year in front of all the creatives, I was like, I'm going to do it exactly how I know they want me to do it. And to be quite honest, it felt like I was playing pretend and not authentically, like, in that character. And I was like, oh, okay, let's just, like, lock that in. Like, I know I did what was wanted of me, and I respect that because it's an incredible, like, formula. And this is an amazing show, you know, all those things. But we also have to check in on ourselves as performers and, like, is this feeding me? Because, like, likely every single time that way will feed somebody else if it's not doing it for you, someone ready to perform in that way.
Totally.
But when I came back next time, it was like a few months later, they were seeing me again. And I remember I was just, like, healed mentally in a lot of ways that next time. And I was in so silly, goofy mode. I was like, I'm not going to play how they want because I already know they respect me. I respect them. Like, I'm not going to add riffs to the songs or do anything like that. But I'm going to play this a little different than I have the last 4 years. Like, I'm going to be Mariah. And I remember getting into that holding room. The energy, stressed. Oh, every person in there, stressed. And I was like, I felt it, because I didn't care at this point. And not in a bad way, but in a, like, hey, I'm just happy to be here way, you know? And I fully look at everybody, and I go, guys, how dope is this? Yeah. We get to go sing Wicked right now. Literally. I'm like, have you guys been in for them before? And they're like, no. And I'm like, acoustics in there? Slay. They're so nice. They're so encouraging. But I'm like, we get to go sing, like, the songs from the shows that made a lot of us, like, want to do this in the first place. And it goes back to, like, why do you have fun doing this? Yeah. Why do you like this? Literally. Like, otherwise, we'll drown. We can drown, burn out, and forget, and become a workhorse.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. For one of my part-time jobs, I am an equity audition monitor. And I ran the first day of the Heather's Call the other day. And that holding on, first of all, was not as wild as I thought it was going to be. So that was a nice start to the day. But, like, you can tell like the things that people care so much about just because they think it's so central to them, and like it's very much
Wow.
not who they are. You
Yeah.
know, like everyone
Yes.
coming in and their skirts and their blazers and whatnot, who are like just trying to give what they think they're supposed to give rather than what they bring to the table for real. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's when you kind of get over that those doors are unlocked and that your potential is really unleashed. And
Yep. Done.
granted, that takes time and that takes failure to learn, but if I can
Yeah.
say anything out there to prevent a little bit of that for people, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes.
Like, be yourself,
100%.
you know?
Be
Fit
yourself.
yourself into the puzzle. Don't make the puzzle fit into your life, you know?
No.
No
You're
way.
the secret ingredient.
Exactly.
You as yourself are the secret ingredient. Like in the last year when that really like hit me, again, 29 when I was like 28, turned 28,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, my brain more developed than it's been.
Totally.
We got all the diagnosis, all the things. And it was like when I started realizing like, wait, it can just be me.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten more opportunities that feel good to me in this last year than I have my whole life, that feel
Yeah.
aligned with what I want and
Mm-hmm.
like where I live, like my friends, like all
Yeah.
of these things. My peers that I get to work with are inspiring to me. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, was the secret sauce literally just being me? Like
Crazy.
the whole time?
Crazy.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
And it goes back
No.
to just like, yeah, I think young people with theater, and I did this, and
Yeah.
I burned out, but I'm glad I burned out in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Follow your dreams, follow the fun, and then check in.
Yeah.
Because there also comes a point, and I see this in people I love and admire who are a bit farther along than me, and they've said yes to things that they believed would be good for their career or their resume or other people, and I've seen the joy leave their eyes.
Yeah.
I've seen their dreams go away. Some of the most talented, beautiful people I know. And again, can always come back. Like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
a beautiful life we get to live.
For sure.
But, you know, I just am like, don't get trapped in it when it's your favorite thing in the world. Don't
Yeah.
make your favorite thing in the world feel like the hardest
Yeah.
thing in the world.
Exactly.
And that it's against you. You
Totally.
know? It's not against you.
No.
By any means.
Everyone is rooting for you to fit into their
Yeah.
stuff. Like you don't have to you don't have to
Yes.
put on a show in any other way other than who you are. I am a huge proponent. This is more of a me thing too, where I'm like, I do not need to be the most talented person in the room.
No, I'm not.
If you want to hire me based on my vibes and what I could bring to a rehearsal room and just
Great.
the general morale, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Honestly, would potentially prefer that. Who's to say? I don't know.
Don't put that pressure on me
No.
that I'm the best in this room. I'm not,
No.
baby. Like, I have a good time and I bring
Yeah.
a good vibe.
You know-
and I will make the story be told.
Truly. If they're
Well.
saying, Brennan, what a hoot. That guy, such a hoot. I'm like, amazing.
Whoa!
Amazing.
Literally, I'd rather someone say, Mariah, what a hoot and a pleasure to work with, than
Yeah.
Mariah, like, what an inspirational actress. I don't care. Tell me that I'm a hoot and a pleasure to work with.
Literally.
Like, that is what I care about at
Yeah.
this point. Because, again, bleak existence.
Truly.
I don't need to be the best. I want to make you guys feel like that was fun, or that you learned something about yourself because
Yeah.
of the story I told, or I was a little part of it. I don't need to be the main part of it. I'd prefer not to be.
I will happily
I'd rather
be
a
the
tight
break in
part.
all of the ballads you've heard today. You know, I will happily
Love
go in
it.
there and be silly and fun and just
Yes.
switch the vibe just a little bit, you know? A little
Yes,
break.
a
Once
million
again, giving
%.
them a break in a way, you know?
I love that because
Yep.
life is already too hard. Let me give you a break.
Retweet.
Let me give you a break and shine the light back on you.
Exactly.
We're good. We're
Oh.
good.
Wow. I
Wow.
feel like we have inspired so many through this
Well,
conversation.
I certainly hope.
Yeah,
No, just
I
kidding.
sure hope so.
I sure
I
hope
sure
so.
hope it does.
I sure hope it does. Road work ahead. Yeah.
Mariah, do you have any other words of wisdom that you want to share? Any advice to the little Mariahs out there?
Oh, I'll cry on sight.
That's
Little
okay. I'm only
Mariahs.
releasing the audio.
Yes, great. Little neurodivergent dreamers. You don't need to be neurodivergent, but if you are in that category, I know it's really, really, really hard. I would say, like, I'm going to reiterate, like, you're the secret ingredient. Like, you learning who you are and seeing what you want to give through the world through your individuality and that being authentic through you is going to give you your dreams. It's going to help you find the right people. It's going to help you find love, maybe, I don't know about that, but I would assume, you know, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, how are the right opportunities and the right people going to find you if you aren't being you?
Yeah.
Like, you will not get into these right alignment things. And I did both. Like, I had like the skyrocket of all of this stuff, and then after that, I was trying to fit into boxes, and I was not finding the same success.
Yeah.
And I felt very lost, and I felt very like, is my time done? No. Truly. I had evolved into a new person, and I didn't know who she was yet. Mm-hmm. Then I found her, and we're back.
Amazing.
You know, and I'd say we're not even back. It's like a rebirth. You know, you level up. That's what I would say. Just keep leveling up.
Truly.
You're never done. You never peak. Mm-hmm. You only peak if you want to peak.
That's exactly right.
If you want to peak, then you're done right there, and it's downhill. But like, we have this one beautiful life. Follow the dreams. Follow the fun. Follow the fun.
Follow the fun.
The best thing I've ever heard was Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, say, he was like, you know, people are always telling me I jump from thing to thing. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt like that, where I'm like, I don't know if people like that I jump from thing to thing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but I'm just following where the fun goes.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you have to limit yourself to any sort of made-up path in your head? Those are fake rules. That's not real.
That's just monotony and sheep's clothing, you know?
1,000,000%.
It's monotony in a wig trying to trick you.
In a wig.
Yeah.
In a really beautiful wig. And so you're
Stunning.
like, wow, wig. You
Lace
know?
front, stunning.
Lace front, expensive. Like, expensive cosplay core, you know?
Yeah.
But like, no. It's not real. It's whatever you want to do. And like, wrapping up one other point is like Simone Biles. I'm going to quote people that I admire, because it's like, then you become that too. But like, Simone Biles, after her thing in the Olympics where she like, you know, caved in like mentally to herself, relatable. And we're very similar like ages too. And like, she went to her home gym and did the baby basic things that she did when she was like 10 years old, and got a team behind her again, fell in love with it again, and now she's breaking her own records again.
There you go.
At an older age. There was no peak. She's peaking every time she does it now.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. What about you?
I love
Any
it.
lasting wisdom?
Oh my God.
To the kids?
Y'all, be yourself, be silly, have
be
fun.
silly.
You know, the childlike wonder should never fade. You know, you have to grow old, but you don't have to grow up.
Period.
And that is when you will find the most freedom in this world to not only be who you want to be, but just fucking thrive, you know?
Yeah!
The world is what you make
Thrive
of
Central.
it. You know, the world is your oyster. You are its pearl. And just live in it, you know? Live in it. Oh,
be present.
Ain't that the truth? Be present.
Yay!
Yay! Folks, we are rooting for you. Get out, do the thing. We are your biggest supporters, and you can be our biggest supporters by finding us on Patreon. Folks, that is patreon.com/BA to Broadway. Of course, your normal disclaimer, we are not gatekeeping any information on there. There are no lessons to be had there. That is just for fun, silly bonus content, silly stories with the people that I bring on here and trick to giving me their time. So come through, check us out over there. Our principal tier Patreon members get to choose the shows that we talk about every Friday on In the Spotlight. So if there's something you want to hear us chat about, let us know over there. But as always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BA2Broadway. Mariah, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
Oh my gosh. Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Mariah RFC, and then at random other places, just type in Mariah Rose Faith. I'm pretty much like not as much on the grid as I used to be, which is crazy. That's called,
awesome.
I hate to say it, but it is called healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Twitter, dead. TikTok, you can find me on there. I'm pretty much just reposting edits of my favorite shows.
Amazing.
But I am there, kinda.
Yeah.
YouTube, maybe again one day. But Instagram, Mariah RFC.
Heard. Love it. Mariah, thank you so much for being here. This was an absolute delight.
My pleasure.
Had a blast. And you are welcome back here anytime you want.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
You said.
You heard it here first. Okay? Yeah. That's confirmed.
She's coming back. For a recap episode. Back. We'll do a recap in like 6 months.
Exactly. Literally.
We'll do a check-in.
And until that day, folks, bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.